Hello. Welcome to a new live stream. Welcome. Oh my goodness, my friends. Welcome. This is a new live stream. This is some new fun we couldn't do a week ago. This is something using version 1.0.12 of Unify that just came out, is available to everybody. Let's see. Let's see here. I need to hide a couple things here. Get things set up. I hope you all are doing well. Hope you're being safe wherever you are at. Let's see here. Is anybody into the chat yet? Let's see. So we need to close that. And here. Hey, there's a few of you in the chat. Cool. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, boy, what a week. Crazy week. This is a lot more interesting fun to watch than the news these days. Yeah, the news is pretty depressing. 12 is a new magic number. Yes, 12 is a good number in this case. This is Unify 1.0.12. We're out of the zero phase. My goodness. So I'll tell you a funny story. Let me get this microphone as close as I can get it before it shows up there. So we were planning to release version 0.10 like on Wednesday. And somewhere around Wednesday, it wasn't going to happen, maybe Thursday. And Shane goes, because we talked about something like this for a long time, and he's always had this idea of getting something that could, because these layers are able to be, MPE. If you think about what MPE is, it's actually 5 layers of the same sound on different MIDI channels. That's why each note can have its own independent controls and all over there with pitch, and the others don't change. It's different MIDI channels. Well, Shane, he'd been, I guess, banging his head on MIDI box. This is this MIDI file player that we have coming in the next update that's just truly insane. Not going to show that to you today at all. I can't. We purposely have me controlled so that all the built-in plugins that I have access to are only these 3. Plus our, we also have, of course, our arpeggiator. But that's it. I don't get to show anything else new. But it's really complicated because we're starting to do some more complicated things where you could take an 8 measure loop and say start at measure 6 and have it play for 4 measures. So it plays measure 6 or measure 7, measure 8, measure 1, measure 2, then loops back to measure 6. All sorts of cool stuff will be available. And he goes, it wasn't a very productive day for the most part, but I started playing on the idea of something that can make mono things polyphonic. And he goes, I had some pretty good progress. You want to see? Usually it's like, hey, dude. I get this on Skype. Hey, dude. It's like, uh-oh, what's he up to? He's like, you want to see something? Whenever he says that, I know that there's something cool he's going to show me. And so he had, in 24 hours or so, come up with the basic idea for this. And then we hashed it over, and let's see, Mono Fury. Oh, it's only a V. Oh, there it is. VST. I haven't even tried this, but I was told about this one today because I'm gonna tip you guys off to some free plugins as we get through this. But basically, he'd come up with this thing, and the idea is ingeniously simple and something that Unify can do in its sleep. So basically, yeah, so good to see you all. Welcome. I'm so glad there's a lot of nice, good people here. So the concept is this: if you take, let's take something like simple, like let's do a commercial synth to start with. Uhi's Repro 1. I love this synth. I've made a library that's available at pluginguru.com for Uhi's Repro 5. It actually has patches for both. If you go to presets, here's the presets for Repro 1. And then there's also a whole series of patches for Repro 5, which is 5-voice polyphonic. So this has cool things like melodies. So you could build on that and write a song. Also has all these cool leads. And of course, because mono synths are great for bass, there's a ton of all the things you can do with a mono synth, right? Wouldn't it be cool if you could play this polyphonically just to see what it was like? Well, mono poly you can't. It is one voice, polyphonic, mono. But we can do this now in Unify. The way you do it is this. I'm going to do it step by step so you see what I'm doing. Nothing up my sleeves. So you go over here, you change the MIDI channel to 1. That's just one of the big important steps. Go over here, add a new MIDI effect. I'm going to start from scratch. I made 2 presets, as you saw, so that you could easily load up just a poly box in 4 layers or 8 layers. I'm going to build it from scratch so I can explain as we go. So we go to Unify Standard to Creative. This is our first creative MIDI effect. More will be coming in the creative MIDI effect. That's where Jitterbox is going to show up, which is a timing MIDI effect, which is super, super badass. So with this pool size lets you make a pool of up to 16. That being 16 different MIDI channels. It requires, just like MPE and the separate Bindi stuff you can do, we're doing the same basic thing. It wouldn't be too hard. We need to do a little bit more exploring on MPE because scaling it and stuff, there's a lot of stuff. If it's not set for MPE properly, you play it, it sounds really bad. Let's set this to 8. That means I want to have this monophonic synth. I want to play 8 notes of polyphony with it. All I have to do is go over here and let's type this in to be Polybox 8 voices, right? So now since I've named that, I can go to N, and MIDI 1 is Polybox 8 voices. So it is now set up and connected. And what this means is I play a note. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Every 7th note, this MIDI channel will play. The other times it's cycling through the other MIDI channels. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we made some shortcuts into Unify to make the next step easy, because you need to duplicate this layer 7 more times, each time advancing its MIDI channel by 1. So I would have to go over here and I'd say duplicate this channel, make this channel 2. And now I have 2. See how it cycles between the two? But no, we don't have to do it that way. Go here to the little bullet and say duplicate the next 7, next MIDI channel. Boom. I have an 8-voice polyphonic repro 1. And it's too loud, so hold down Option. And now you can bring down the volume of all of the volume sliders together in one fell swoop. Play a chord. And then I can go like this. And to make it sound really nice, go down here to replace layer to the master optimizer. And we worked really hard on getting it so that it plays. All MIDI channels that it's talking to, it's sending controller information, pitch bend information, notes off are sent on each MIDI channel so you don't get stuck notes. Isn't that cool? That is like so freaking cool that you can do this now to any monophonic synth that you own. You can make it polyphonic. Another cool feature that we added into Unify 1.0.12, CPU meters. So you can see that Repro 1, even while it's sitting here, it's dedicating and chewing up the processing power that it needs. The good news about this is that no matter how many notes you play, it doesn't change, that doesn't grow. So this is showing 8 different layers, and here's the threads that they are each talking to on your computer. Down here is the master pool of your entire processor. If this goes to the red, then it's using every bit of energy it can from your computer. This right side CPU meter is showing you the division between the MIDI effect, the mastering effects right here, and then all the green are the layers. So now you can explore any of your synthesizers that are monophonic and make them polyphonic. Now, to get back to trying another patch, you need to go down here and say delete to each layer. And if you want to sit there and hit delete 7 times, go for it. I asked Shane to make a shortcut. And so we have said if you hold down Option and you click init, it's going to delete all the extra layers except for layer number 1. And layer number 1, it's going to leave alone. So MIDI channel setting, this patch, sound, everything, Option, click, boom. Now just have Repro 1. And now we're back to playing only on every 8th cycle. So hit bypass on Polybox. And now you're back to a monophonic synth. Let's try another synth. I'm going to tell you guys about 2 free monophonic synths. One that I've played, one that I have never played, but I have some of their other plugins and they're very nice and they're free. This is the Viking VK1. Now, Blamsoft, they have plugins that they make for Reason. They're really nice. I'm really impressed with this. I have glowing green in the corner, my Moog Voyager. This is a clone simulation of a Moog Voyager. It's 3 oscillators. It's got the split for the spacing between the filters to do panning left and right with different coefficients. Go blamsoft.com. And on their main page, you will see a link to the Viking synthesizer, right? Interestingly enough, this is only available as a VST plugin. So when you come down here to download it, it's only available as a VST2 instrument. And if you're using Logic, normally you look at that and go, oh, crap. Send them a text message, hey, how long till you have an audio unit version so I can use this in Logic? Well, with Unify, you don't have to wait because we are loading and playing with any format, VST3, VST, and audio units in Unify. So I can go right here. I've already scanned. If I go up here to Blamsoft VK1 synthesizer, boom. And just to show you, if you go here and say VK, it is a VST plugin. So I'm loading a VST plugin into Logic Pro X, and it's playing just great. It sounds as good. I mean, these filters. Super snappy. Incredible synth. Well, let's go down here to the soft, perky stuff. I like to play that polyphonically. Maybe bring down the resonance. Maybe less glide. I bet that'd be really nice. So I'm all set up, right? Because I've done this already. I just have to turn on Polybox, go over here to this little spot, say duplicate 7 times, and just like that, I have it's so simple. It's so fun. So VK1 is free. You can download that, play with it. Hold down Option, click Init. Let's go to the other synth from Full Bucket. Swap instruments, Full Bucket. They have all sorts of really cool synths for free. One called Mono Fury. It's a mono poly clone. So let's turn off Polybox. Wow. That'd be really nice polyphonically. Just go over here, turn on Polybox. Go here, say 7 dupes. Really loud. So let's turn this down a little bit more. Play a chord. Ah! Sorry. Cool. And their website and this product is fullbucket.de. And they have all of these synthesizers for free. I don't know about if you guys know about this guy, but he's pretty amazing. Pretty just, there's crazy synths. Ragnarok is really cool. Different personalities for all sorts of things. This is good stuff. Good stuff. So you should know about these guys. But Mono Fury is their monopoly monophonic synth clone, and it is free. All you have to do is hit download, and there it is. So, boof. Yes, Surge is another good one. Surge is not monophonic. It can be polyphonic. It's a very nice free synth. Maybe one of the more complete synths. I was actually really wanting to put Surge into Unify, and I was contacting the guys, and there's so many people working on it. They weren't really seeming that open to the idea, so we didn't pursue it. Surge free VST synth. This is another one you guys should know about. It's a great synth, cool interface, all sorts of capabilities, free. So surge-synthesizer.github.io. That's a long address. If you do Surge VST synth free, it will show up. But they have, it's a cool interface. It's a little Frankenstein-y to me at this point, but it's very, very powerful. It's got many types of synthesis and capabilities. It's pretty insane. There's now over 1,000 patches for it. Great filters, great modulation sources, cool effects, very powerful. Highly recommended for sure. So let's continue this adventure, okay? Follow along. So watch what happens when you play Pisca Unify. Plugins you should know if right. Yes, I know search. It is a fast, yes, it is a good synth. I need a drink. I spilt water. All right, so check this out. When you play through Polybox a single note, and we can actually go up here and say reset. So it will start 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. See how it cycles? This means that you can have panning be weird if you want, which is kind of like a trait. If you remember OBXD, it has the area over there for each oscillator to be in a different stereo position. Well, let's take it even further. Let's just use these presets and call up some things. Let's just say call up the pluck bank on this sound, and let's call up maybe OBXD jump on this sound, and let's go over here and let's call up I'm just randomly choosing weird stuff, okay? Detune, and let's have the first one be some sort of really cool big let's have it be electric piano, bright. So I'm changing the sounds, just randomly looking around here and playing around. What this is going to do is give me different sounds on each layer. When you play a chord, it's playing one note per each layer. We plan in a future revision to Polybox, make this so that one timing event can be a polyphonic synth sound. So you can do this is close to wave sequencing. I don't know if you guys know about my history, but I worked on the original wave station. I worked on the past wave station. Yeah. Yeah, I worked on the wave state. And in fact, samples that are inside of Unify are inside of wave state. They licensed some of the sounds from me. So that was pretty cool. Let's see here. So you have wave sequencing-esque things, but once it becomes where you're playing, and you can have, like if I play a chord, it just played 6 of these events. So now the number one's going to 7, 8. And it gets out of order, and this reset will let you. So we're going to have it with like a re-trigger mode. So when you take your hands off the keys, next time you play, it can start at 1 again. So it's always able to start. And now I have a wave sequencing-esque kind of a capability where you could reset, and by using the arpeggiator or a MIDI file, it's a wave sequence. It just gets kind of a crazy cacophony now because each note is just one note polyphonically. So if I play a chord, it's playing instead of just one sound. Like I said, that will be coming in a future free update. This is a free update to those of you that own Unify. So if you don't own Unify, it is now $79. It's never going on sale again. It's not being discounted ever again. No. This should be like over $200 for what it does. And we continue to grow and add free things to it. So if you don't see the value, then that's your thing, not mine. Let's do some examples though. I have some really cool things here where I've taken 4 layers of similar sounds, and you can do some really cool. So I have a pad on part 5 that I can mute, and then I have 4-part cycling. So this started some cool experiments. I did like, this is really fun. This is using 8 layers. And remember, every one of these layers are a guru sampler. They could be any synthesizer in your toolkit. Serum, Omnisphere. Take 8 of your favorite Omnisphere patches and put them together and you'll have something really cool. So it's just pretty cool that this idea, it works for taking monosynths and making polyphonic, but we came up with some other directions we could take this, that it can do some other things that are quite different. So there's some other cool examples. This is cacophony, which is right? And then it's kind of like, well, okay, so I'm playing more rhythmically, this kind of stuff. That means the arpeggiator has to get involved in this, right? So I have a couple examples. Sicker Than a Dog. Pretty cool. That was just fun to play, and in the sequences, kill the bass. This could be drum samples, all sorts of things. 1, 2, 3, polybox. This is a fun one because one of the cool things with Blue Arp is you can set it up for these key steps, so that each key step is expecting you to play a certain number of notes in a chord. And if you don't play that note, it doesn't play. It just doesn't automatically play it. So if I play one note, it's only playing this one and the ones that say K1. If I add a second note to it, so you can get all sorts of cool rhythmic things happening. If I play 3 notes, let's get the keyboard so you can see what's going on. Play 3-note chords. Let's play all 5 notes. You ready? 2. Four notes. So you could change this up all you want. All you have to do is play in the grid. Say I want 4 that are like there, 2 that are here, 3, 4. So it's so easy. And here's your velocity control. So you could go to velocity and say soft like this. And again, there's grids for everything. So if you like working on a grid, it's great. Right? So this is just a test. Again, these sounds on this that are samplers could be any synthesizer in your room. And then here's the grand kahuna, the monster. I created something that is to test all the capabilities. I wanted to make at least one that had something on all 16 layers. And I didn't, we don't have a monosynth in our database. And so this actually helped find a few things that we fixed with Shane. But this is 16 different DX7 DX patches that are playing. And I'm going to show you first by turning off Polybox. So if I play a chord, okay, it's just playing one. As soon as I unleash Polybox, it's going to go crazy because it's going to cycle now through 16 layers. You ready? 2, 3. And then you can play chords. Then, because I was taking heavy acid that night, I took and added a kick. I'm kidding, I don't take drugs. There's a pad. If you want to go Afro-Cuban, we're gonna do full dance. Just take these guys, bring them all the way up, double time, full pump. Ready? I love our higher depth, the strength filters. So you can do all this with one patch. You can go revert it back to where it starts, and it's kick, he's here. This cool delay with some distortion in it. There's two different pump houses. There's one on the pad and one on the whole mix. So this is the whole mix pump. Right? And then I have this pad. Check this out. This is a cool trick. I have this shape for the mix level so that it gets to the full volume of the pad really soon, as soon as possible. And then I have a really slow growth and it only gets to the max at the very end for the depth of pump house, so that I can have it where if I bring this up into here, I have a pad, but no pump house. But as I bring this up, this is a much different shape. Check this out. Pretty cool. Oh, you're welcome. It's a very fun upright. It's very cool. Hope I make 1 million. It's kind of you. Got a long ways to go, my friends. Share the word if you can. I need to start. I've got a whole friend list of friends that are YouTubers that I need to start having them maybe talk about this if they can. Got to get the word out. Let people know that this is available. So another feature that's really cool that we added to Unify is a really nice feature to the Guru sampler that I asked Shane for I'm working on a library for hip hop. And let's do this. Let's go to the keyboard. Let's say maybe like a nice bright piano, maybe the Steinway Hard. So here's the grand piano, right? Lots of samples. Look, it says all samples. You can now choose just one of the samples in the piano. So here's how it plays now. Let's have it play just the lowest sample. It's like a new type of clavinet, you know? Put a filter on this. Maybe res it a little. Get your funk on, right? Get as funky as you can with that. So it opens up all of the sample maps. Now, a lot of the sample maps inside of Unify are one sample. That's because these were originally library samples made for the libraries that I've made for Omnisphere, which is a single sample across the keyboard for a patch. It's all you can do. And so keyboard, that's where we have a lot of things now that have lots of samples, these new pianos that are in here. And there's another reason why this is really cool. Future libraries, any library that's made for Unify, you'll be able to go in and pull out just whatever samples are included in that map. So if somebody has every note sampled, like if I go to one of the drum kits, this is really cool. Go to Unify bonus. There's these drum kits in here that I stuck at the last minute in here. There's Airwaves library. Here's Vintage King, right? Well, now all of those samples show up right here in the list. All of these are samples inside of this drum kit. If you choose one, you now have that one sample across the whole keyboard. And there's all sorts of fun things you can do with a single drum sample across the keyboard. If you go to like the Airwaves library, a lot of cases in these, you would go up here and set this to unpitched. So everywhere you play it, and then if you want, you could set pitch and then transpose it. Okay, so this ability is really cool. It lets you pull out just one drum sound if you want to cross the whole keyboard. If you want to make a drum kit with different layers inside of Unify, you can do this because now I'm old school. I'm old. So there's all sorts of cool old things we used to do with samples for years because we didn't have cool mapping and all that kind of stuff. The Akai S612 was one of the first synthesizers I grew up with over 30 years ago. 3.5-inch floppy disk drive that was a separate like $600 purchase on top of the sampler that you plop in a floppy disk to load one sample that would play across the whole keyboard. And that's where I started, my friends. So I want to get back to those days. So there's cool things you can do with some of this stuff. So check this out. So you take, let's say the piano. Let's have it be hard just so I can show you. Let's see, oh, I've tuned it down. So what's also fun with this sample trick is that by Okay, so right here, that is sample at B2. And now from here on up, as I play this note, it's playing samples that are actually from higher up the keyboard. And listen to what happens to the sound. Instead of getting brighter, now it gets darker. Until you get to these really surreal, like, it's not a piano, but it sounds like a piano. Up there, it sounds like a piano, but down low, so I wanted to show this feature off because it's a really cool ability. So I made a couple patches. This may be one of my favorites. This is All in This Together, which is using actually a really cheesy piano. I didn't even make a patch for this. This is the MDA piano. It comes with the MDA effects. They're part of the SDK for Steinberg, so they're samples that I don't know where they came from, but I put delay on it. And with this crazy coronavirus thing that we're all going through, we're all at our homes, we're all in this together. So that's the idea behind this patch and this sound. And there's some cool tricks in this. I have a... See where it says sub? And there's a little bit of glide on it. And then you can sub out all the other parts. If you don't want the layers, you just want the piano and the pluck. Or you can take out the piano so you just have the FM pluck. It's very soft. Let's say I wanted to make that louder when I bring this. Let's not get into that stuff, but you can see what you can. That's just a compliment. So there you go. That's really nice. I did a couple others, one with the Aurora. More meditative. And then one with the soundboard. Isn't that cool? It's kind of like a felt piano-esque in vibe. So those are the patches, 10 new patches inside of this update. There's fixes inside for eLicenser and iLock, so it's more compatible. It used to be we had a fairly nasty bug. If you're changing between different effects, we would randomly crash. That's been fixed. Another cool feature for a lot of you are asking about mailing list. So let's talk about this just for a second. I've gotten so many requests. Please put me on your mailing list. All you have to do, my friends, is go to pluginguru.com. I can't do this for you, but you scroll down to the bottom of the page of pluginguru.com, and right here you can join the newsletter. And I send out release information here, and on the Facebook page of Plugin Guru are the two places Also, Instagram. I try to be up on my social media stuff to let people know, but you have to come here, put in your name, your email address. MailChimp is going to send you an email, and you have to confirm that email or you're not on the list. It's a 2-step verification, and I can't do it for you. Please come here, join this. You'll hear news of what comes out. I need to update these because that's not the newest library in a long time. But this is my website. This is where you would go to get Unify. Also, it's where you can come to get, there's 80 different libraries for different plugins that have my DNA throughout all of them, of course, because most of them are 100% from me. There are quite a few of these I will point out. The Airwave libraries are from Laurent Veronez, and I'm going to show you in a minute his new library that's coming out next week. It's incredible. The Northern Lights, those are in the Omnisphere stuff over here. Northern Lights is for Omnisphere 2. It's just patches. Or that's Jason Schopfer. You'll see him in the chat quite often. How do you know if my content was updated? How do I know? The easiest way to know if your content has been updated is to see up here where it says 1.0.12. And if you open tags, you'll now see a 1.0.12 that you can click, and it will show you these patches. Anytime I make new patches for the factory library, I tag them with the version that they're going to come out with so that you can quickly play and go, what did you bring out? Oh, you brought out bass splits. Ah, cool, because I wanted... right? All sorts of cool... right? That was 1.04. 1.05 was about some really cool... I love this... and I brought out the monster lead for the... That's all in 1.05. 1.012 is all about the new Polybox. And so you'll see a tag here for 1.0.12 if you have downloaded and dragged over. If you're using 1.09, we have... I'll show you this really quick. What was let me do what I was doing first. So mailing list, please join the mailing list. This is my website. These are the libraries that I've created, but you have to join the mailing list manually. It's not something I can do for you. We have another thing for future checking for those. There's some of you that are buying this from other websites. You can't join my website. Please, I'm sorry. If you bought the library from somewhere else, you're part of their computer system. My customers, if you buy from my site, you can log in. You can go to your user area and download updates. These other sites, you're relying on an email from them to get you the updates. And they're very good at sending them out. Ilio.com, our partners, will send out an email to all customers that have Unify sold through their system to their different stores and stuff like that. But under this bullet, where you also have the CPU meters, to the left is the question mark. Here's where you can go to the online manual, to the forums. We have our own forums that you can come to if you want, where we have people that can communicate, ask questions, check in, see if questions have been answered, all sorts of stuff like that. But there's also a new one right here that says check for updates. And if you click that, it will take you to a page where we will keep it updated with whatever the newest version of Unify is. This is from 1.0.12 and forward. We'll need to update that because the latest version is now 1.0.12. So see, that's how quickly we did a whole blizzard. I was up till 3 o'clock 2 nights in a row making these patches and working to get this to work and get this out. But this is a really, really cool thing that we added at the last minute. The Polybox, I really wanted to get something special to you guys. I know everybody's got this quarantine thing we have to deal with and you can't go anywhere. And so I wanted something kind of cool and fun to play with. And there is so much fun stuff between being able to just load any random set of patches and see what happens, or taking any, use the template. And I have right here instructions in the template so that you can go through this and go through the steps. I put them into the comment section so that you can know how this is set up, and we'll go through that in a second. Let me just make sure that I'm up to date with what you guys are talking about. How to download and import the new patches. Okay, yeah, that's what I wanted to do. So the new patches show up. Let's go over here. I need to go here. I will show you the process. Guru products. So here is our, right here. I'm going to drag these over. Oh, dang it. Stop. I hate the Mac for this one thing. Drives me crazy. So I have these already on my desktop. I can't move them and have them show up here. I have to put them into a folder first. And now when I move these here, it's going to say replace, and I say replace. But it will put them here so I can see them because I have another monitor that's completely full. So here's the Unify 1.0.2 DMG that you'll download. If you're from Ilio, it will say Ilio at the beginning of the name instead of Plugin Guru. And this gives you this. And if you already have Unify working on your computer, stop. Make sure you quit whatever is running Unify. Don't do this while you have Unify running. That's not a good idea at all. But when everything is initialized, no software is running as far as what we're doing, you only need to run the second. This first one, I'll tell you a little about the story about the first one. This is version 1.0.6. It's the last version that we got certified with Apple before they did their February 5th, I think, cutoff point. Before February 5th, they would give you a warning if you were not like, hey, these plugins are not certified. And we're using, by permission, all of these wonderful free VST plugins. They're not certified for Catalina. They're made from users. We're in the process of getting permission, and we have to modify the code ourselves to get them certified. But we haven't done all that yet. So because of that, 1.06 is our last version before February 5th. As of February 5th, Apple went draconian, which means instead of being a warning, it's like, no, you can't make a Catalina version of your software because these are not certified. So if you're installing the first time, you have to install 1.0.6 first. And then this is our updater that will update to the latest version. So you don't need to run this again. It's going to take you back to 1.0.6 if you do. If you do, just run the second one and it will update it to 1.0.12. It's not massively bad if that happens. Don't worry if that's what happens. But just so you know, this is an older version that we have to run. It's our last version that is certified for Catalina. Right now, we couldn't build a version of Unify that's certified for Catalina because of the way Apple is doing their certification policy for making builds. We don't have OBXD and DX and BlueARP and all these other plugins that we didn't write the code for those. Apple wants them to be certified before they will let you make a Catalina build. So 1.06 is right here. So you install that first if you're starting from scratch. If you're not starting from scratch, then you just install the update, not the install, just the update. After you've ran the update, there's a 1.0.12 update file. This is very small. All this has is it has the 10 patches. It's like less than 600 kilobytes, super small. And you can either use under settings, you can say select a Guru file, drag this over here, say open. It says, do you want to install? You can say yes there. Or if you're on a computer that lets you do drag and drop, you can just drag. This is how you install libraries. Just say drag and drop and say yes, boom. And it will install the 10 patches. And that after doing that, go over here, hit the rebuild database, just to make sure that you rebuild your database. Open up tags and you'll see 1.0.12 and the patches. I also fixed some things in DX. I had some of the DX layers were out of tune. The orchestral bank, when you called it up, DX was tuned to like this. Oops. So I fixed those things. There was an auxiliary that if you went to the distortion and layers of dirt, you called it up, it would be soloed. Oops. So I fixed a few things like that, as well as the 10 patches. That modifies also the settings, which is what's going to make so that you can see Polybox now in the list. So we go up here to your list of MIDI effects. We have an arpeggiator. We have a quarter. By the way, the quarter has been updated. It will play Ripcord 2 files. We're working on our own quarter that will still work. We'll probably keep this version in here for future people. If you ever use Ripcord as a chord player, which is really cool, it's still there. It will always be there. But we have our own quarter we're working on as well. So yeah, that's how you install. You just install the updater. oh wait, I got it here. So just install this updater right there. And then all you have to do is drag the content update. I'm not sure how this will work. I think this is the same way it's going to work for those of you that buy this from other stores other than plugandguru.com. They're setting it up so that you'll have links. What they have to do is, as Ilio sends an email out to everybody, and they were going to do that, I believe, on Friday. And if not, you can send me an email and I'll help get you the links too. So you're customers of ours for life, whether you bought it somewhere else or not. You can't come to the website and log in and download it again from our site because it's a different system, different licensing system. It just, there's no way to combine them at this point. So that is how that works. Okay, let's see here. Quit that. Got it. Yes, you have to do a rebuild of the database just because after you've updated, you've added new files. The database file hasn't been updated. Sometimes it will update it by itself, but if you're not seeing them, click the little lightning bolt. This is like, hey, zap the hard drive, give me an update of the database, and there it is. So now coming later this week, I'm really excited. I want to show you guys in the last little bit. Airwaves Piece de Resistance. You could call this Airwave Volume 4, but instead of for Omnisphere, we've made it for Unify. And it's crazy. It is crazy cool. It is 225 patches, might be more when it's fully done and complete. Airwave has this new version with Polybox, and there's some interesting stuff. We've found that Polybox in some cases can make polyphonic synthesizers more efficient because it's using layers that are different cores. I tried it with Diva last night. I did a live stream that I've deleted because I didn't want to keep it. It was just for Friday night. If you're here watching, cool. If not, it's gone. But I used Diva, and it seems to be multi-core savvy. Serum is not. So when we get to that point, I'll show you something pretty cool. Anyway, this is 225 patches at the moment for Unify. However, when you call up one of these, let's go to some of these cool stuff. These splits and stuff are so amazingly fun to play with. Click a button. Boom, it loads 8 different Unify, or I'm sorry, 8 different Serum patches, 5 MIDI effects, and it sounds unfreaking believable. Serum synthesis is just like so pure. This is like the closest to purity in software I can think of. And then you have real-time control, so you can I mean, you've got a complete club scene you can do with this thing. So off you go. I mean, this is where you're going to want to have some sort of real-time controllers so badly if you don't have one. The Korg little micro controls and stuff like that do all sorts of cool things. But he has a whole bunch of these splits that are just absolutely insane. There's a demo version that I provided a link for last week. If you have Serum, here, I'll give you the link again because I'm that kind of a nice guy. Go over here to the freebies. You can download this. Play with it. pad gating. It gets so freaking tight. Just insane. It's truly, I have goose pimples on every part of my body right now. Isn't that beautiful? So if you want to play with this, oh wait, where'd it go? Airwave blog technodemo.guru. Copy the link. There you go. Bring down the pad gate. This is Serum. Beautiful pad. Listen to how cool this gets. Just insane. This is Airwave Trance Radio 101, coming to you live from Belgium. We've got live music going 48 hours straight. 48 hours straight. Are you ready? We're going to keep going. Let's go. Game over, my friends. Also, be aware that this library, for $39, you will also get all of the Serum patches as Serum patches. All 200. There's over 200 patches for Serum. He made drum sounds like crazy that are inside of this, as well as these crazy put-togethers of all this crazy stuff. Both the drum sounds as single drums, as well as up here as BPM drums. So you could say kick, and now you have a... Same with that for your tuning. I snuck in a really cool thing under layers. Under instrument, you can say empty Unify. And now you can go over here and double click this and choose another... Let's go back to melodic techno, choose another groove. So let's call up a chordal thing. Take this up an octave or two. And we have a minor versus major. Let's call this bass line. So you can build these all day long. As you can see, the processor's not having too much of a problem with this at all, which is pretty amazing. So say another empty Unify. Let's have it play a huge thing on top of all this stuff. So let's go down here to these Airy melodic techno. I have to turn it down. And still not working the processor that hard. So it's really, really fun to play with. All these really cool creative things. If you're into the techno, crazy techno trance kind of things, mostly techno. He's kind of over trance, he says. I don't blame him. But let me show you something. These are some of the BPM chord things, and these will take down your computer fairly quickly. Like this one here, even like 5 or 6 notes, and it totally kills your computer, right? So if we go over here and we add Creative Polybox, and let's say we want to use 4 layers. So we just, all you have to do is say MIDI channel 1, and then replicate this. Oh wait, I need to say it's already going to MIDI channel. It's already going to MIDI effect 1. So just give me 3 more. And now I have 4 of my cores now working on the serum patch. It's still a problem, right? So let's do this. Let's get rid of these 3. Let's try 8. Let's give 8 cores of this computer, or 8 threads, because each one has the ability to do different. So let's say duplicate for 7. And see how that turns out. Better. Like if I was to play this chord, let's say revert to the original, and now I play that same chord. My computer can't play it, completely freaks it out. So Polybox can be used to extend polyphony, make CPU-hungry plugins divide up their notes amongst your cores of your computer. So it's got its purpose there as well. There's so many of these that are really fun to play. They all have different mods set up. This has 5. I like, where's the one that's hard left, soft right? This is super, super cool. So fun. Anyway, fun ideas. And then you can take these and you can take out parts that you don't want, that you're going to have played by other things. They're creative starting points. There's a whole bunch of them to play with. So that will be coming out next week, probably Wednesday. I'm hoping we'll have this happening. So yeah, Patch, Serum is an insane synth. You go through some of the drum sounds. These toms are so cool. it's just one patch, and there's 8 different tom patches. So I mean, they're just begging for you to go empty Unify. I had these really cool things I did. I'm going to do a couple more of these before we release this under BPM drum techno grooves. Just call these up. It's a whole groove. I can mess everything up, the controllers. Once you mess it up, it's hard to get it back. It's one of those things where he's got different drum sounds programmed for the different settings. And when you get them all synced up to the same values, you kind of lost it. But it still is cool. So you can play with this all day long if you want. There's other things that are fun in here. The BPM bass. There's a whole bunch of these different ideas to... Now, you also need to have Serum effects for this library to work. And this is free for if you own Serum. If you've torn it just Serum by itself from somewhere, you're going to be kind of sad because the patches will say red lights. Will be red text if Serum effects is not found. So buy a legit copy. Make sure you download the Serum effects that come with it. It's basically Serum with its modulation sources and effects, and you can have modulation sources changing parameters in the effects. It's really, really cool. Sounds incredible in a lot of cases, but Serum or Airwave used this a lot for all sorts of all sorts of BPM ARP things. That's just great. And a lot of these are actually programming the actual sequences and the events. So you can program them and modify them all you want. I want to start right into that right there, you know? So there's all sorts of... I'll do a full patch walkthrough video this week before this comes out. I'm going to be interviewing Airwave. I'm very excited about that, to talk to him about what he is doing. This is one of those things, and I wouldn't do this very often, but I want you guys to seriously consider buying this library just to help Airwave. He gets the majority of the profits from the sale of this library. All of his concert gigs, all of his DJ gigs everywhere in the world for the next, who knows how long, 6 months, have been canceled. So this is a source of income for him, and if you can afford to help him out, it would be a very appreciated thing. I won't give you all the details, but he needs our support. So this is a library that he's made with love, and he's made this it's kind of funny. This is all made before the situation happened, but it's interesting how it's such a great library and it's coming out at a time when he really needs the support from people buying the library. So, and I don't do the pandering thing, and I'm not doing that now. I'm just saying, just so you know, this is like a major source of income for Airwave and his beautiful girlfriend Danja and his 2 girls, and they're home in Belgium. They've been in a lockdown quarantine, even more strict than what we have here in the United States. And we'll probably be placed under a similar quarantine at some point because this virus is so contagious to people. So it's pretty crazy. So if you can, please support. Oh, Laurent is here. Yes, it's months and months in the making. It's a labor of love. I hope you can hear the intensity of what he has going on here. We really, love my brother. He's been, I'm going to get all emotional. He's like a brother to me. And he started up the inspiration on Omnisphere with multi-mode and stuff like that. And, you just play these and you just go, oh my God, to put these together. He put some of the most, inspiring to me. I love what I did for Unify, but he definitely opened our eyes up to some of the things inside of even what we do in Unify with some of the BPM stuff that he did. This from Berlin with Love. I mean, but as far as Unify can go, compare that. I mean, I'm proud of this. It's great that we were able to do this, and it's mind-blowing that we're doing it in this product and making it affordable. You compare that to this, it's a whole different ballgame. Serum is just a superior synthesizer in all respects. So. I mean, yeah, it's truly a next level for Unify that he has done. And I greatly appreciate his friendship and his support and everything he does. And so, hopefully that didn't hurt anything. So when this comes out, if you can support him, it would mean a great deal to him and his family and their well-being. So, hold on a second here. Okay, so any questions for what we're doing here? If there's anything we can do to help you guys out, should be available by Wednesday. Yes. Yeah, big love to Airwave. Everybody do a shout out to Airwave. And while we're at it, shout out to Shane. Because both of them have I'm blessed to have them on my team, and it's a small team, but yeah, thank you. I'm blessed to be in this position where I can facilitate and help these guys express themselves. Shane with the code writing he does, and let me tell you, a lot of it's not pretty and a lot of it's not fun. But the end result is we have something where we can call up these things that are just really super fun to play with. Let's see if we reset all and say here. I mean, it's so fun to play with the... Oh, I hit the wrong button. I didn't want to do that. I wanted to go back here. So I have an idea. Add an empty layer. Oh, wait. We're here. Empty Unify. On top of 18 layers, we can add more Unify. We're not limited. That's what's so crazy with this silly stuff. And look at the processor. It's just like, sure, what do you want to do? Let's go. So we can go over here to Airwaves, Library. Put a little happy reverb on this, maybe. Then bring in our own kick. Pad. Do the processor. So it's so fun. Those darn neighbors. I wish they would quit playing this music so late at night. Guys, turn it down. I'm trying to sleep. So it's crazy to have this thing that we can do something like this and add 19 layers. Inside of this one Unify are 3 serum playing. And then we have 18 others. So 18, 19, 20, 20. We have 21 synthesizer plugins playing. And you can see from the CPU meters that it's handling it. While I am also live streaming to you guys at the same time, high bandwidth video at high resolution. So it's pretty cool. Very, very, very cool. All right, I'm going to check to see if there's any other questions. Yeah, neighbors gone deaf, so don't worry. Thank you, Robert. I love that. Neighbors have gone deaf. Don't worry. Oh, you sci-fi man. So tight coding. Yes, I keep Shane on his toes, keep him up at night. What CPU speed do you have? I have a 6-core, 3.46 gigahertz. I think it's 2.6. I'm always confused about this. I think I have 2 6-cores, and so it's 12-core Mac Pro with 48 gigabytes of RAM. I have lots of RAM. This is all CPU processing. This is not RAM intensive. This is all DSP stuff that's going on for most of this stuff you're hearing. That's because CPU is being chunked up into pieces to do this. But it's playing all this at 128 beats per minute with all sorts of stuff tempo locked. All these pump houses are cranking along. If we call them up here and get so you can see them. These guys are providing all the pumping effects that we have. And check this out. This one here is on the mix, and it's so tight it actually limits and shapes the kick drum. I mean, you can get into super cool shaping things. It's sample clock accurate, so you can do multi breakpoints like this. Line it up a little better. And that might not be so cool strong, but oh, one more thing I should show you that's super cool. For those of you on the programming side of things that are on the nerdy stuff, check this out. So let's use this filter max is going on, right? I'm going to option click. Here is the parameters. Shane spent some time. I point out some issues we had with 1.0.9 for this real-time control. It works really cool now in that no matter, it used to be that if you set this at the max value and you close this and then you open it back up, it would no longer show you the modulation shape that it was set to. It now does that, but it also shows you what the current value is as you move the knobs for everything. So as you're moving this pump and it's changing the pump effect up there, if I was to go over here and option click on this and see the curvature, it shows the value that it's at the same time. So the next step we'll put to where it's at some point where it can read and show you what the actual values are. I want it so that you can move this, and as you do that, it will real-time change, so you can actually change what the max point will be by listening to where you want the high-pass filter to be or something like that. Those are things we'll do in the future. So that's another thing that we fixed and added inside of 1.0.12. That's really cool if you're into programming and want to be able to see and have more accuracy. Some of these I can get to where I have all sorts of like a massive list of modulation things on one knob, and it works much better now. So that's another nice update that we did. So go Sierra. Yeah. Oh, thank you guys. That's nice. Thank you. I appreciate very much. It's fun to have a little family to support, bring out new ideas, and it's really cool to say, here, what are you going to do with this? And then some of you send me music of what you're working on, and it's really cool. So, all right, shout outs. Let's do our shout outs from wherever we are in the world as we fight this silly virus situation. I have a Kronos. What would you suggest as the studio setup with Unify? Well, the Kronos has the real-time modulation setting for the 8 sliders. So you're set. All you have to do is set up those sliders by just turning on the Kronos, and you just hit the little button to change this. Let me hold on a second. It's called Control Assign. Is the area. It's just to the right of the vector joystick, and all you have to do is set it to external. And then what you do is really nice. Unify is very smart. You have these 8 knobs. So all you have to do is say right click here or right here in the little bullet and say MIDI learn, and then move slider 1 on your Kronos. And oops, I did the wrong thing. MIDI learn. There's somebody else somebody else is talking to the system. Let me see if I init. There might be something weird going on. So if I say MIDI learn, or else you can also do this. You can just say assign and go here and just say 1, and now it's listening. So you can do it either way, because the Kronos has a page on the setup where you can choose what MIDI CC you want it to be set to. Either there, just set MIDI learn and then move your controllers, and you can get all 8 sliders to work. And now it's just, it's great because those are faders, which is the easiest way. If you're trying to use knobs and do this type of a thing, you can't do that with 8 knobs. I haven't seen anybody be able to successfully do that with 8 knobs yet. Shout out from Germany. Oh, Nature Guy in Jersey. Yeah, man, you guys have it hard over on the East Coast. Is getting hit hard with the coronavirus situation. Shout out from Texas. Steve, my brother in Oregon. Us Oregonians must stick together. Shout out from Sunny PDX. Yeah, the Airwave library is not available yet. This is like the last time it's going to be like shown as a preview. Next time it is shown, it will be available. If you follow, the other way to know what's going on is to make sure you subscribe to the Plugin Guru channel, hit the little bell. That way you'll get a notification when a new video shows up. There will be a video coming as soon as it's available again. What was the Kronos model again? I have a Kronos Model 2 over here because that's what I last worked on. But it's Korg Kronos, it's hardware. You don't need something that big to control knobs. You can get even a little tiny Korg Nano Control. I have the Native Instruments. This is the Machine Jam. You can find them used on eBay or new. They're not that expensive. And this has 8 faders that can each be different colors, and wherever you move it and leave it, it stays at until you move it again. It's great. And you can play notes with these buttons. So if you want to play music, I've seen people play complete solos using those buttons. And it has 8 different sets right here of what these 8 faders and everything else can do. And it's really cool if you're using different sample libraries. If you're a composer and you're like in a serious situation, you can have these set up so that B is for controlling your Spitfire string libraries, C is for your 8DO libraries, D is for Native Instruments contact sample libraries. You can set up you can do all sorts of really nice setups. It has a very nice control or editor right there. This editor is included from Native Instruments, and it's very easy to use and very powerful. So you can set it up so that each of these has a controller set up for what you want it to be. You can double click and you can even change the color, what color you want it to be, how it works not only as moving up and down, but pressure, I believe, as well. Very powerful. So it's overkill for 8 faders, which is what I mainly use it for, but I just like how easy it is to use. It's just right there in front of you, so easy. But the Korg Nano Control with its faders, you'll have to tape it down, use Velcro or something, because it's going to move all over the place if you get carried away and get into the groove of things. Stuff like that. That works. Yeah, shout outs California, New York. It's like a sci-fi movie. Yeah, Larry, that's got to be crazy, man. We are living through a sci-fi movie. Make great music out there. Right on, Ivar. Good to see you. Ivar from Norway. Dave Williams from Liverpool. Nice. Another Liverpoolian. Everybody be safe. And we will see you in the next live stream. Thank you for your support. As always, you guys are awesome. Please spread the word. I have my little bubble of customers that are super, super happy. I want to bump that bubble up bigger. So if you can say, if you're stuck at home and you want something to play with, check out Unify. There's nothing I've played with like this. I would hug you once this virus is over, okay? Love to you all. Be well. Be good to each other. We'll see you later, okay? Oh, I should play some sort of groove on the way out because I feel like grooving. Yeah. See ya.